Well, greetings from the edge of the Algarve. We're going to be taking a little road trip today. We're going to be heading up towards the north, up towards Sintra and Fatima. So as we head through the mountains up towards the borders of Alentejo, we're going to have a look for some interesting sights on our way to Portugal's far north. Come on, let's go. So I've just stopped at the side of the road to have a look at one of the many water fountains that are dotted along the back roads of the Serra de Monchique, the mountain range that we're driving through. And you get water fountains like this, little natural springs that are dotted all over the road. You see people on Sunday afternoons bringing litre bottles of empty water bottles to fill up and take back to the city. So we're going to give it a try. Let's see what the natural spring water of Monchique is like. Not bad. So, what does the night in Sintra look like? Well, we've got a whole house today, or actually for the next week, and this is it. We've got our spacious living room with some nice comfy seats, a nice settee, television, fire, although this time of year it's not needed. Got some lovely candlesticks, clock, and a little balcony, so we can sit outside with a glass of vino, which comes free, because as we come into the dining room, I love this. This is the traditional styled chairs, the turned wood, which is quite typical, especially of this part of Portugal. We've got our kitchen, and inside here, inside our cool box, we've got complimentary wine and some beer, some colas. I'll make use of those later, and some champagne. That'll keep us going for the evening. And here we've got some nice Chinese looking plates, or Asian sort of art, which is quite fitting considering we're in the Zen Garden Family Resort, something like that. Sorry, the Zen Garden Family Residence, part of the Bonsai Tree Museum here in Sintra. Now we've come up here, we've got the nice marble railings coming up to the bedroom. And we've got our 3-bed bedroom, complete with television. Nice bit of Japanese bamboo in the background. And our view outside. The view over Sintra and beyond. Behind us we've got the old town, the castle, the palace, and here we've got some nice art. Typical Portuguese scene. I don't think it is of Sintra, but what I wanted to show you was here. Right at this point, we've got old tapestry. These were typical back in the day in the 19th century Portugal, and this is just one example. And of course so down here we've got the bathroom right next door to the living room. This is a room I'm going to be making use of in a minute. Take a nice shower. Fairly big. Little sink. Toilet. So yeah, that's our place for tonight and for the next 5 nights. So until tomorrow morning, adios. So we've arrived in Sintra. This is known as the Portuguese Riviera, or the Portuguese St. Petersburg, as I like to call it. Here up in the north you've got palaces everywhere. You've got Pena Palace, nearby Mafra Palace, and behind me the National Palace of Sintra. Okay, so I've just been to the cafe, and we've got some traditional cakes of Sintra. We've got the pillow of Sintra, whatever that is, and a cregelado or something like that. In other words, cheese tart. So with my cappuccino, because I didn't do a galal, and the cheese tart and the pillow of Sintra, whatever that may be, let's see what it tastes like. Okay, let's try. Quite nice. Tastes like ready bread. You know when you were a kid, they had that porridge oats. It's like that in Palaces Portugal. And it's very sweet. Quite like that. So just finishing the coffee and the cake, and I want to show you this. I mean, you've got the castle up on the top, the Moorish castle, and you've got this, all these different grand buildings, almost like little mini palaces. It's a bit like Venice, where every single building is or once was a palace or a stately home. You've got all the different colours, different scenery, and it's all on this huge mountaintop, which I spent most of last night and best part of today navigating, not going very far, eventually finding the old town, which was right next to where we're staying. But it's quite nice, but it is extremely busy with people and tuk-tuks. So we've got a bit of a change of plan. I thought originally I wouldn't bother going into this palace, but as the queue's not too bad, let's go and have a look. Let's see what this amazing building has to offer. Now I just learned that these two cornettos are actually chimneys. It's going to be quite interesting to see how big these fireplaces are. Let's go and have a look. So they said the entrance is this way, but it's not this way. So I ain't got a clue where it is. But take a look at the windows with the carved archways. Really pretty, quite unique. The little turreted bits at the top. Oh, and some smaller little chimneys on the corners. But let's try and find this entrance, which should be somewhere around here. But take a look at the square. Pretty impressive. Let me guess, is this called Palace Square? Normally what the square is called in front of the palace. Ah, right. Let's have a look. it should be somewhere here, and yeah, ticket office. So we made it into the palace. Let's see what we can have a look at. And wow, spiral staircase. The old tiles. Look at the swans. Just like the symbol in England, the royalty owners of the swans. A bit like the Queen, huh? Got the chandeliers. Again, these tiles, which I think were made in Seville, especially for the king of the time. Old tables. And these typical bulky wardrobe type things. And this is apparently called the Hall of the Swans. And hey, take a look. One of those big old fireplaces. Wow. Now, if you're looking for a hotel, this would be the place to stay, huh? The Gold Chamber. Take a look. Wow, take a look. You've got the crest in the centre. The blue tiles, which were brought here from Seville, specially painted. Got horses, horsemen, and the palace in the background. More scenes of horses. They must have loved horse riding. Got all these archways, and look, all the knights, all dotted in the perimeter. All different shields, different plans maybe. And then we've got a more relaxed view. A gentleman and his lady friend taking a walk in the gardens. And a guy here that looks like he's running after something with his dog. So we've come to the chapel tribune, or the courtyard, and the strongbox room chapel. Let's have a look. These old-fashioned lights, and whoa, interesting. Take a look. Now hopefully we'll see the room that they've got the chimneys. They should be down here, but let's see. It's getting late and they're wanting to close, but I really want to see this fireplace. So originally in this spot here would have been a tower, but over time it's disappeared. This castle or palace is so old that As kings, queens have come and gone, things have changed. But look at this. Quite impressive. Now that is a bed. I'm still looking for these chimneys, but what's down here? No. Yes. Well, it's a room for cooking. I don't know if I'm going the right way, but it seems to be like a scullery or a kitchen. Royal crest again. The big kebab skewers. And all the pots and pans, the holes for putting the fire. We've got some pestle and mortars here. And another Portuguese wardrobe. So I just learned that King João, when he lived here, had 14 cooks, and Queen Caterina had 29 more cooks working in this very room. Take a look. The bread oven that's so common throughout Portugal. We've got 2 here, more pots and pans. Remember, they would have had a lot of staff back in the day, all of them needing fed, or needing to be fed. Not to mention the royals themselves. My God. Look, we have a huge chandelier. This must be one of the fireplaces of the huge chimneys. And a beautiful mirror. All cut glass, worn over time. Table. But look at this. It is fantastic. Another bedroom. Not as opulent as the last one, but still, wow, look at the cabinets. So regal. The bedroom, how it used to look, and how it is today. Done in this typical Portuguese style with the turned wood. Another chandelier. The water grotto, done in this amazing blue tiling again. And then you've got this redwood type design up the top. I don't know if that's the right term, but it's beautiful. This nice little courtyard. It's in the typical Portuguese design. So, that was the National Palace of Sintra. It was interesting to see, something a bit different, not exactly on my itinerary. I kind of thought of it at the last minute, and it's just closing time, so we saw a little bit, so I had to kind of rush the tour. Didn't see too much about the chimneys, but anyway, I guess now it's off to Pena Palace. Let's go. we've arrived at Pena Palace. This was once a monastery until it was transformed into a royal residence in 1940. Then it became nationalised in 1910 after the revolution. But take a look. It's just like something out of Romania or former Yugoslavia. You know, it's a strange sort of fairy tale land. It's done with this beautiful multicoloured sort of facades, almost sort of Romanesque. It's amazing to think that the last king of Portugal actually lived here. Now, something that's quite interesting is the name Pena actually means feather, so it's a palace of feathers on this park, which is the National Park of Pena. But take a look. This is where the former King Manuel II lived, and much earlier King Ferdinand II also lived. Although it's fairly new for how palaces go, you know, 1840, a couple of hundred years, if that, you know, it's sort of fairly new. But it's still quite a striking place. It's not as old as some of the other palaces, but it's probably the most amazing one that I've seen. Take a look at this entrance. I mean, it's quite cool. You can imagine a guy coming in on horseback through those gates. Now I better put the mask on because it's a touristic zone, many people. But what I wanted to show you was this. Take a look at the gargoyle. This is like Neptune overlooking the gates. Got the shells either side, and these beautiful windows, all done out of this sort of leaf design all the way around. And even down to the windows, these mosaics, or these tiles, incredibly old, imported from various regions, from Portugal, Spain, Italy even. But yeah, take a look at the entrance here. All these sort of feathers, the penas. And even this, look, you've got these little knights fighting, jousting. Hundreds and hundreds of them. And these sort of Moorish designed archways leading to a viewpoint, which is out here. It is pretty cool. And then as we look over the edge here, you've got something even weirder. We're basically up in the clouds, overlooking Sintra. So let's walk up to the main foyer, main entrance, and take a look. This is what greets you when you get to the top of the entrance to Pena Palace, the Palace of Feathers. Come up here and take a look. You've got the onion domes. Sort of looks a bit like Moscow in Russia. Slightly Arabic maybe. But take a look at the architecture. I love the figure in the middle there. Again, blue tiles. So let me put the mask back on. And so lots of Americans about. Lots and lots. But yeah, take a look at the view. It's nice. So Pena Palace, it was a royal residence from the 1840s, and eventually it fell in the hands of the state. The state took over and nationalised it, and now it's become this massive tourist attraction, like a Disneyland. Here's where we were earlier. The building behind me, the yellow building, used to be the sleeping quarters for the staff, the guard's house. So just imagine back in the day, horse and carriages would have come down here onto this platform and then up into the castle itself. Main entrance right in front of us. I could say, welcome to Romania, but it's Portugal. It's amazing how vibrant it is. I mean, all the different colours. I mean, you've got reds, yellows, the tiles, got sand, sandy sort of colours. And then down here you've got this sort of medieval, sort of grey looking towering architecture, the palms. So remember, way back when, this used to be a monastery before it became a palace. And you find little things like this. These were once holy water wells used for storing holy water, obviously used by the monks back in the time, before it became in a palace. But take a look at the architecture. You've got all of these ceilings that go on and on throughout this courtyard. And of course that Romanesque tower, the big one we saw earlier, and a little palm in the middle. Here we've got the dining room. I love the ceiling, how it's all done. Those old-fashioned chairs again, all laid out like it's just ready for the king to return. And look at that view. I love the archways. It's kind of cool. So what's in here? It's a little sitting room. It's kind of cool. You got like the little frescoes at the back. Naked ladies, obviously, has to be in a palace, like in every single palace. And some guy with his butt showing. But yeah, it's sort of a room to relax. And then you've got the view. I mean, this is quite a regal view. You can see why they chose this as their summer residence. You've got the city of Sintra right below, the old part, the new part, and then the Pena estate, which is all this greenery, this whole park that goes right away even to the back of us. But yeah, what a view. So this was the coffee room of King Carlos, so I just learnt. And this was obviously his private suites. So let's take a look. So who knew that in a monastery you would have a prison? Well, take a look. This used to be the prison used by the monks. And later on it was turned into a wine cellar by King Ferdinand. So from prisons to wine cellars, got it all in Pena. So walking along here, this used to be the cloisters when it was a monastery. In 1910, when they had the revolution, when they kicked the king out into exile. Exile that ended up in England, funny enough. A lot of the former cloisters all along here was where they stored all the furniture that belonged to the former king. Now it's full of tourists, like me. So you've heard of Ferdinand II? This was his bedroom. Take a look at the ceiling. supposed to take pictures in here. Oops. Probably won't get caught. Look, we've got a nice little sitting room. Again, what would have been a nice view. You can still see they've got the royal papers, a bit like they use in Buckingham Palace. Apparently this was the office of Queen Amelia. Take a look at the candlesticks. Fireplace. And I've noticed something that's quite cool. Take a look. This little cabinet. So apparently back in the day, this used to be the telephone room. Take a look, telephone. So when old Ferdinand was in here and he wanted a Mackie D's, got on the old telephone. But hey, look at this. I mean, we're talking about ceilings. This is the top ceiling you want. And this sort of optical illusion, like the room is slightly bigger. It's only a painted wall, but looks sort of almost three-dimensional, like you're in a hall of columns. Every palace needs a great hall. This is what you call a great hall. I love these sort of dark mahogany wood. And these guys. Sort of guardsmen, very eastern looking guardsmen. The turban. With these huge chandeliers. This is the office of King Ramboll II. The last king of Portugal. And there's his desk. Remember King Ramboll, when after the revolution he was exiled to Britain, where he died in London. Some said that he was done in by Portuguese version of KGB. We don't know, but maybe. So, that's it from Pena Palace. It's been interesting. We've learnt a few more bits about the palace that everybody visits, the most famous one in the area, most colourful one. So we're going to carry on our journey, see what else we can find in the land, which is Sintra.